So it's signalling in. Pedestrian crossing is going to red, so I know that the traffic's going to run out coming towards us. The bin lorry is pulling in, so it looks okay. I'm going to check interior mirror, right door mirror, and then position out. So the pedestrian crossing helps me there because it stops traffic coming up. After the bus, I'm going to check interior mirror, left door mirror as I merge back over. Flashing amber, as long as everyone's off the crossing, I'd expect the traffic to start moving. It all looks good, so I'm going to gently accelerate and go back for second gear. Yes, that person has just pressed the button, but it's just been red, so as you'll be aware as a pedestrian, if it's just been red, it'll be a delay before it goes again. I'm intentionally keeping a nice gap with this white car so that I don't actually have to focus on this white car that much. I can look at other things. So the crossing on the left looks good, and the crossing on the right looks good. There's people walking, but no one's pushed the button, and I can also see that the wait light isn't highlighted on the box, so it's not been pressed. Going to do another video about anticipation and planning. Going to drive through a typical busy city street at the moment and see what we get. As you'll find as you watch these videos, it's the same stuff over and over again, and if we drove to the more we drive these roads, you'll notice that. So the bus is stopping there. I'm going to check interior mirror, right door mirror, just as I position out. This road's 20 miles an hour, like speed limit. I can see it repeated on the lamppost here, so I'm just bearing that in mind as I drive along. Further up, I can see the vans that are going up, beginning to brake, so beginning to queue. I can see a pedestrian crossing is red. So I'd expect that pedestrian crossing probably to be green by the time I get there. We're on an uphill gradient. So as I approach, I'm going to check my interior mirror. The red Audi's got a nice space behind me. I'm going to do gentle braking. Clutch goes down, stays down, and into first. I'm braking enough I don't get to this van. Now, before I run out of energy, I'm going to press my accelerator and guide my clutch just to the biting point. That will now prevent me from falling back. As the van now starts to pull away, I'm going to guide my clutch. Now, the reason I did that was the traffic lights were beginning to change to green as I arrived. If they were just sat at red and like going to only just change to red, then I wouldn't do that. I would just stop and put my handbrake on. So drive along here, I've got a lorry that's got the back of it open, so there could be people walking around it sort of loading and stuff, but it looks okay. I've also got the sun a bit in my eyes, making sort of visibility for myself not as good as it would be on sort of in other conditions. I've got a bus 3 ahead which is leading. It could potentially pull in to pick someone up or drop someone off. Pedestrian crossing is changing to red, so I'm going to check my interior mirror, come off the power, start to brake gently. As I get nearer, clutch goes down into first gear, and I'm going to stop just before I get to the line. Now this pedestrian crossing goes to flashing amber once it's been red. So it's flashing amber now. As long as the person's on the pavement, then I can go. So I'm going to do accelerator and then guide my clutch. I'm just checking both mirrors just to check that no cyclists, motorbikes or anything are coming up either side of me. And if of course that person hadn't made it off the crossing, I would still wait. But yeah, there's a bit of flashing amber. As long as everyone's safely onto the pavement, then you can go. Now the road bends round. I can see the van I was behind a moment ago sort of queued up slightly, and the bus and stuff's queuing up. So I'm going to check my interior mirror. It's going to be the same. I'm going to do brake, clutch first, and I'm stopping behind this car so I can still see road between me and the Audi in front. That means that I've got a good view like along the road, and I can see what's happening. So this bus is still loading in front, with picking people up, and in front of that I can see that the traffic is queued back with the traffic lights. So it can't be too long until it all goes if it's all queued up. The bus is now beginning to pull away. The traffic might shuffle forwards slightly, and it's gone green. So before I'm starting to move, I'm checking my mirrors just again to update is there any motorbike cyclists coming along the road. But all looks clear. I'm now just waiting for these guys to go. When they do, I'm going to set my accelerator gently so the fuel's going into the engine, and then guide my clutch. Now, continuing straight on at the traffic lights here, your default position for going straight on at traffic lights would be the left. So when these parked cars finish, I want to move back to the left. I'm not going to signal left because there's a left turn at the traffic lights. So I'm going to check interior mirror, left door mirror, and get properly into this lane so that if those traffic lights went back to red, I would be in the correct place. I'm not stopping but between two lanes. The traffic's moving forwards enough there that I can clear that yellow box, but I can see it's beginning to queue up again. So checking mirrors as I move out off these parked cars, and it looks like it's going to be brake, clutch first, brake enough I don't reach the Audi but come off the brake before I stop, press my accelerator gently and lift the clutch just to the bite, and then I've now got clutch control which I can use to edge forwards. There's a junction here that I don't want to block, so I'm squeezing my clutch back down towards the biting point and I'm just holding it for a moment. Now I'm going to try to figure out if it's going to move. It looks like it's not going to move that much, so I'm just going to go clutch down, foot brake, handbrake on. Where if I thought at that point that the bus was beginning to pull away, then of course I would just hold and then drive. Now I've left this the gap between me and the Audi in front to allow access to this junction. Traffic's beginning to move, so I'm going to set my accelerator, bring my clutch to the bike, checking both door mirrors for any cyclists or motorbikes. No one's coming up either side. It's not going to stop me if there is a cyclist coming up. Well, it depends what I'm going into, but like it's wide enough here that the cyclist could try to cycle forwards beside me, but I just want to be aware of it. So there, I've just brought the clutch just up, just enough to edge, but not catch the Audi. And again, it seems to be queuing up again, so it looks like I'm just going to be returning to the handbrake. So if we clutch down, foot brake, handbrake on, and then it looks like it's going to move again because I can see the top of the bus beginning to move. So it all repeats. Gently on the accelerator, clutch to the biting point, checking both mirrors, looks good, going to release the handbrake. Now I'm going to continue straight on, and it's marked in the right lane to go straight on at the traffic lights. We've obviously got this bus leading the traffic further ahead, so it could stop, which would make things queue up. I can see the signal on it already, that it's stopping, and the traffic lights are going to red, so I'm going to be stopped at the traffic lights. So I'm going to check my interior mirror, and it's going to be brake, clutch, first. I was just looking at the back of the Audi as I was coming in there just to check it did have a left signal on, so that's just to confirm that I'm expecting it to turn left. But it's nice if I can get that glimpse of that as I come up, and then sort of I'm quite confident it's going to turn left. I will still check as I go forwards, as the road sort of narrows into one lane again over there. I will still check this left mirror in case the Audi doesn't go straight on, or if there's anything behind the Audi that comes forwards with it. I can see the green man's on the traffic lights, so as long as that's on, it's going to stay red. The green man's just gone off, and so I think we're next in the sequence. So I'm just updating the mirror checks, no other cyclists or anything, setting my accelerator, lifting the clutch, and off I go. Now as it all merges back over, I'm just checking the mirrors, there's no one else in the lane, that Audi's gone the other way, so I'm all good to move back. I'm moving back, but I can see parked cars over here, so I'm not going to jam myself right in behind them. I'm going to try and get myself on a line that just like skims past everything if I can, as long as that's then not going to disrupt the traffic coming towards me. But that looks good. Now further down, the pedestrian crossing is green at the moment, and the traffic's beginning to queue up. There's no one at the right of this crossing. The left, there's someone with shopping that's pushing the button, so that might change to red before I get there. That's it changing. I'm going to check my interior mirror, I'm going to do gentle braking, clutch down, and I'm going to wait just here before the yellow box. Now it looks like I could clear the yellow box, so I'm now going to move gently across the yellow box, and I'm going to stop just so I can still see road between me and the white car in front. Now on the bus inside, I can see the stopping lights being pressed. You probably won't be able to see it on the camera, but yeah, someone has rung the bell, so it's going to stop at the next bus stop. Flashing amber, no one else is on the crossing, so I'm able to go. We'll see if we can see it, like I can see it as it's coming down. So this bus is going to stop at the next bus stop, I think. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, like it's just downstairs on the lower deck, there's a bright light inside the bus. So it's signalling in. Pedestrian crossing is going to red, so I know that the traffic's going to run out coming towards us. The bin lorry is pulling in, so it looks okay. I'm going to check interior mirror, right door mirror, and then position out. So the pedestrian crossing helps me there because it stops traffic coming up. After the bus, I'm going to check interior mirror, left door mirror as I merge back over. Flashing amber, as long as everyone's off the crossing, I'd expect the traffic to start moving. It all looks good, so I'm going to gently accelerate and go back for second gear. Yes, that person has just pressed the button, but it's just been red, so as you'll be aware as a pedestrian, if it's just been red, it'll be a delay before it goes again. I'm intentionally keeping a nice gap with this white car so that I don't actually have to focus on this white car that much. I can look at other things. So the crossing on the left looks good, and the crossing on the right looks good. There's people walking, but no one's pushed the button, and I can also see that the wait light isn't highlighted on the box, so it's not been pressed. Further down the road, I can see a queue of traffic, and there's a yellow box here. It looks like there's enough room for me to go commit to this yellow box and go over it. This guy's turning off. I'm just checking my mirror because they might slow down more than I anticipate. They were okay, like they sort of got around quite the thing. But if they don't, I might then have to brake. But because I've checked the mirror, I'm all up to date. I know exactly what's happening. So it's all queued up, checking the mirror, brake, clutch first, stopping so I can still see road between me and the van in front, and then it looks like we'll be here for a little bit of time, so I'm going to go handbrake and neutral. Now, one of the things I can see, because of this big van, I can see bits and pieces up here, but in the reflections of the shops here, I can see the bus that was ahead, it's beginning to move. So the traffic's beginning to move, so I'm going to go clutch down into first gear, and then I can start to get my feet ready. So I'm going to do the accelerator on the bike, checking both mirrors, and then off I go. So that's one advantage of having like a line of shops there. I can use those slightly to sort of, with the reflection, I can see roughly when the traffic's going to move. So going first to second, I'm continuing straight on. The lanes here, it's marked in the middle lane to go straight on here. It's green at the moment, there's a yellow box here, it looks okay on the other side, I'll clear that, so I'll be able to commit to this. Where if I was unsure, I'd have to wait before it. and I'm just cruising along waiting for the next thing that's going to interrupt me. And what you'll see in these anticipation and planning videos is there's always something, but if you can see it, you're on it, you're ready, and it gets quite sort of fun. The bus up ahead stopped, so it might be gone by the time we get there. I'm checking mirror as I position out off this car. Once I've cleared this silver car, I'm going to check interior mirror, left door mirror as I come back. And things are beginning to bunch up slightly, and because it's uphill, we'll be back to doing that thing I did earlier with the biting point possibly. So I'm going to do brake, clutch first, then let go of the brake before I've stopped, before the car runs out of energy, gently on the accelerator, lift the clutch to bite. The van starts to move, so I can lift the clutch slightly, and that will make my car move. Crossing looks good on both sides, so I'm going to go first to second as I drive along. I don't want to be too close to this van because it'll block my view as well, and it's big, so I've got enough of a gap that I can sort of do my best to see. Got a parked van here. I'm going to check interior mirror, right door mirror before moving out, and after this line of cars I'll be looking to move back in. In addition to that, looking at the right of the crossing, there's no one standing at the button, can't see the left yet, checking interior left as I come back. I'll see the left now, there's nobody there, so I'm anticipating that this will stay green. The bus is stopped there. Now let's see, it looks like we're going to have to pause because it's all bunching up. So I'm going to do brake, clutch first. I'm stopping before this crossing walkway in case it doesn't move. It's moving now, so I'm going to do accelerator and bite, and then lift between from the bite up the way. So the reason I stopped before that walkway of the pedestrian crossing was I didn't know how long we were going to be sat there in the traffic, and I don't want to block the crossing while I'm waiting. There's another yellow box here, it's green, I'll clear that yellow box, but the traffic lights ahead are red, so I know they're going to stop me. I'm going straight on it, I'd expect the left lane to go ahead, so I'm staying in the left. As I approach, I'm going to check the interior mirror, come off the power, light braking, clutch down, into first, and again stopping so I can still see road between myself and the van, then handbrake on. And then I'm going to take my foot off the brake to check the handbrake's got me. Sometimes what people do is they'll keep their foot on the brake, which is not a problem, but if they've not put the handbrake on hard enough, when they take their foot off the brake, it might be the car then starts to roll back. But at least if I take my foot off the brake just now, I can check that does work, and then when it is time to go, I can I don't have that to worry about. The bus is beginning to move, so accelerator and then the biting point, checking both door mirrors, all looks good. So I'm going to release the handbrake and just gently guide the clutch up the way, and the car will drive. I'm back into a 30 there. It's a bit tucked up, that sign, like very easy to miss. And then I'm going to just check mirror just as a position out for this cycle lane. So I've still got a bus leading the traffic further up, so it might stop. I can see the signal going on, and there's people at the bus stop. It might be really easy to go past the bus here, it might be a nightmare, we'll see. It looks like it's quite wide and it looks quite easy to do so, so I'm going to check interior mirror, right door mirror, and just position out. Before I sort of shuffle back in here, I'm just going to quickly check interior mirror, left door mirror, just as I'm coming round there. What I'm checking is I've cleared the bus, and something like the bus isn't beginning to sort of draw forwards from the bus stop. It's unlikely they will, they're very professional, the bus drivers, but yeah, just in case they made a mistake. So I'm off these with the doors width at least, which I can easily get. With the cycle lane dashing out there, if there was a cyclist in that cycle lane at that point, you'd not overtake them at that point. So if at any point you're driving along and the cycle lane dashes out right out into the area you're in, if there's a cyclist in it, the cycle lane takes priority at that point. Of course, if there's not a cyclist there, you can drive through it, that's fine. Well, you're not physically going to be able to get through there without going in it. So yeah, so just cruising along, making sure I don't go over 30, and at the moment it's looking pretty good. There's nothing in the immediate sort of distance I can see that's going to cause me any problems, so I'm just sort of maintaining along, looking ahead, just keeping up to date with mirrors sort of around me just to see what's going on, just so that there's no surprises. And further up, there's a pedestrian crossing way in the distance. I can't yet see if there's anyone at it, but that'll be the next thing that's potentially going to interrupt me. And there's a junction there that looks a bit busier. So I'm going to check interior mirror, right door mirror. So with it being sort of a busier section with junctions, you might have the potential that people are crossing, coming in and out in front of you. So there might be a bit more activity. I have right of way, but it could be that someone makes a mistake up here or a poor judgment, and I might have to react slightly. Crossing's good on the left, the middle's good. Because it's got the railings in the middle, it should be that it's only from the left to the middle that I'm worried about. Someone on the far side pushing the button won't change the whole crossing. The next crossing looks good on the left and the right. There's a person walking, but I think I'm going to beat them to the button. It looks like they're going to head to the button, but yeah, I'm going to beat them to the button, so that will stay green. But they're a very important piece in that assessment, because if they do get to the button before me, then yeah, it's going to change. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful, and yeah, we could do that same route over and over again, and it'll be different every time, but as an educated guess, it's going to be the same type of things that are going to interrupt you. So yeah, good luck with the driving. Any questions, let me know in the comments, and yeah, we'll see what we can do to sort these things out. Until next time, I'll see you soon.